Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. We've got an interesting puzzle in front of us. It's called One More Time by Jonesy. Now, it's my understanding this thing was made a few years ago, like in 2022, I think is what they said. And now they're just uploading it here. So quite a while ago this was made, but it's very recently been put onto Logic Masters Germany. So we're going to give it a go and see what happens. Hello, how are you? Normal Sudoku rules apply. So every row, column, and 3x3 box will contain the digits 1 through 9 once each. Digits in a cage sum to the small clue given in its top left corner. Digits do not repeat within a cage. So that's normal killer cage rules. So these will be add to 13, these to 17, etc., etc. Now, within each 3x3 box, all digits belonging to the same cage segment, the part of the cage inside that box, must have the same parity. So either all odd or all even. Let's start with there, and then we'll move on to the rest of it. So this 11 clue, all three of these are in this one region, so they will be of the same parity. Either they're all odd or all evens. And then a cage may change parity when it crosses a 3x3 box boundary, but is not required to. So we could say these were all odd, and then this one could be an even digit, or they could just all be odds. But it does have the ability to change parity. So it's an interesting little wrinkle into the killer cage rule set here, essentially. So putting a parity rule on top of it as well. So with that said, let's get into it. Links in the description below. Let's have some fun. And because Jonesy has said we must have fun, so therefore we are going to do that. All right, let's think about, we're going to have to get into some maths here. Now, like this 11 clue, is it ever possible that they could be even? Well, the answer is no. Because 2, 4, 6 are the least you could ever put in. Well, 2, 4, and 6 together equals 12. Well, that's above 11. So these have to be low, or odd, excuse me. I can figure out how English works. Now, is that actually reduced, though? Yeah, it is, because they have to be a 1, 3, 5. It's the only way this would work. Because if you start putting anything higher, you're already at 11. So these right now are 9, so this is a 2. Good. Now, these guys here in the 22 or the 28, let's think about those for a second. 6, 14. I don't think these can be even. Let's go through those in my head now here. Or I can talk as well, but if these were both even, the most they could ever be would be 8, 6, which is 14. But then we'd have to put another 8 to get to 22. We can't do that. Now, if we don't do 8, 6, you can go down to 8, 4. We're at 12. We can't do that. These are the other two odd digits. The rest of these are all even. Now, this is 16, so this has to be a 6 to get us to 22. Now, we know these are even. I'm sure some of you will be coloring this puzzle. I'm not going to at the moment, but we'll see what we can get out of it. Are we required to put any of the specific even digits into this? Because again, the most we can ever put is 8 and 6, which would get us to 14. We'd have 14 left over. If we don't put both 8 and 6, we can still make it work, can't we? Because we could do 8 and 4, right? So we're at, no, we can't do it actually. Okay, we can't go down to 8 and 4, because if we did, we're at 12. These two would have to add to 16. There's only one way to make 16. It's a 9, 7, and the 9, 7 is staring at it. So this is 6, 8, which means this is 2, 4. Now it's going to say there's a 2 over here and over 6 down here. I don't know if I care to put those in at the moment. Let's continue the process. These two have to add to 14 without using the 6 or the 8. Well, that means it is a 9, 5. This one's going to be the 5. This is going to be the 9. Okay. Now, these had to be the same parity as well. we didn't really need to think about that because that's the only thing these could be were the same parity, but you could have also thought about that. Let's continue on. Let's think about either the 21 or the 12, perhaps, is the best way to go about it. There also is some possibility that this column could come into play. Let's think about this, though. 2, 8. Can these be even? I'm thinking they can't. No, they can't be even. And why is that, you say? What would you put here if they were even? You can't use a 6. And you can't use both the 2 or the 4 because you'd be breaking this cell. So this would have to have an 8 on it. But the second you put an 8 on it, and you have to have another even digit, you can never make this work because the 8 with a 2 would leave a 2 left over. You've repeated a 2, and 8 with a 4 is already 12. You've broken it. So these are even, or odd, excuse me. And 9, 10. You can't put a 9 on it. I'm going to put these in and then think about them for a second. So you can't put a 9 on it. Because if you put a 9 on it, you'd have to put a 1 with it to stay under 12, but then wait, no, you could put a 9 on it, sorry. You could put 9, 1 to be 10, and this could be a 2. For some reason, I was thinking we were repeating a 2 there, but that's not the case. Okay. So that's not really all that helpful, because there's a ton of options here, I guess. I wonder if that is really... Okay, let's think about some of these other guys, maybe. Do we want to go down here and think if we can remove a 6? Will that actually help us very much? I don't think it necessarily will. What about the 21 clue? Because it has more restriction on it. Now, if these were odd, they would have to be 7, 9. And that would break, because that would make this 16, and this would have to be a 5, and it can't. So these are even. 4, 6, and 8. And it can't have a 4 on it. Because if it's a 6, 4, you can't get to 21. If it's an 8, 4, you're leaving a 9 left over. We can't use a 9. So this is a 6. That's 14, which means this is a 7. All right. Next on the list, I guess, is going to be the 15 then. These have to be odd, first off. No 9 here, no 5 here. Well, actually, this can't be 7 or 9 either. You obviously can't put evens here because you've already used 2 evens, so you can't have 3 more of them. What can we start thinking about the math here to see if we can figure out what this 15 is? 7. Can you put a 7 on it? Let's start there because that's the most extreme digit. If you put a 7 on it... Yeah, you can make that work because you could do a 1, 3, 7, which is 11. This could be a... No, it can't. It can't be a 4. 7 with a 1... That's not going to work either, is it? Because we put a 1, 5 with the 7. We're at 13. And this would have to be a 2, which it can't be again. And then... 7, 3, 5 will never work, so there is no, this is 1, 3, 5. Okay, good. And that, of course, is 9, so this has to be a 6. All right. No one of those is a 2. I don't know if that helps us too much. Those 3 is a 4. What about just these 2 guys? These are 4s and 9s. There we go. Okay, that's the 9. This is the 4. All right, now this is a 2-4 pair because the only other option for the 4 was going to be up here, but it can't be, which means this is our 7. Good. Now one of those will be a 5. What are these guys? We need a 1, 3, and 8. This can't be the 8. Because it would leave a 1, 3 here and break this. So one of these is an 8. So this is the 6 and the 8. Let's put that in. Then the 1, 3s are just leaving these guys set up, so we don't have to go too far with that now. Let's maybe start thinking about the 13 clue. Because you have to, yeah, you have to have a 1 on a 4-cell 13, right? Yeah, because you'd be at 14 if you didn't. So we know these are all odd. And we know they are 1, 3, and 5 because we can't use 7 or 9. So that means we've got 9. This is 4, 2, 4. Good. Now let's start thinking about the 16. These have to be even because we've used 3 odds. We can't put 3 more odds. Don't have enough. These are from 2, 4, 6, and 8. And can we do math there? We do 2, 4, 6 is 12. These could add to a 4. What's the extreme? 8, 4, 6 doesn't work. Let's see if we can rule out an 8, maybe. Because what are the options? If you put an 8, you could put a 2 and a 4. That would leave 2 left over. That doesn't work. Yeah, so there's no 8 period here, because the most you can ever, or the least you could ever put there would be 8, 2, 4, which is already 14. You got 2 more, and you just have to add to 2. So no. Go away. Not wanted here. That's a 2, 4, 6. What are these guys then? 8, 7, and 9. Does that help? One of these two is going to be an 8 because we have an X-wing on 8s. What are these two actually? They're just 6 and 8. Let's go there. That's a little better way to go about it. Now, these are 2, 4, and 6. That is 12. So these two have to add to 4, so it's a 1, 3, which means you are R5. Perfect. Okay. 1, 3, 2, 6, 7, 8. One of those will be a 5. I don't know if that's really helping. Do we have to get into our 34, maybe? Let's think about it. Yes, these are odd, because we've already used 3 evens. So they are from 5, 7, and 9. This is not a 5. Therefore, there has to be a 2 in one of these guys, which means you are a 2. That's a 4, 6, so this is 8, 6. This is not 8. This is a 7, 8, 9 with a 1, 3. And can we think anything else that has to go in this at the moment? We know there's a 2 there, and the remainder from the 5, 7, 9 grouping. All right, let's think further on the 34, maybe? Or at some point we might have to switch over to the other side. Let's see. I don't think we can do much with this one, though, right? Let's think about it, though, because the minimum these could be would be a 5, 7. So we're at 12. These would have to be 22. We could well, we couldn't make that work, could we? Because how do we get to 22 without using the 5 or the 7? We can't. Or at least without repeating a digit is what I'm trying to get at. Because you could do 9, 8, 5, but you already said this is a 5. What about if it was a 5? Because if we can get rid of the 5, that would be helpful. If it's a 5, 9, we're at 14. These have to add to 20. Again, we can't do that because we'd be repeating the 5. The only way to get to 20 in 3 cells without using a 9 is 8, 7, 5. This is not a 5. This is a 2, 5. That's a 7, 9. That's a 1, 3, 7, 9. Okay, that all seems to be working. Now let's go into this guy further. We are currently at 16. These have to add to 18. and we can't use the odd digits, because we'd be pushing the 1, 3, and 5. Well, that's not going to add to 18. So these are the evens, and it just has to be 4, 6, 8. These are not sixes, so that's going to push 8, 6, and 4, and 8. Good. Now these are not sixes, so this is. So we did come back around. We just had to go the long way to get there. All right. Let's now dive into some of these, like this 9. Let's think about it. It's going to be 4, 5, 6. No, I guess it could be the 2 evens that are remaining, 2, 4. Because I would put a 3 here, and there's nothing saying it can't be that. What about the 9 in general here? Because it's only a 2 cell. Can't be 8, 1. Can't be 6, 3, or 5, 4. So it has to be a 2, 7. This is 7, 2, 5, 2. Good. Now we can go to this 9 and say these can't be even because we don't have enough evens left over. We can only put a 4. So these are odd. 1, 3, 5, and 7. Can't use the 7 or the 9. We could have also just looked here at Sudoku. Let's think about our options here. I think whatever we do, this is just the trip of 1, 3, and 5. Yeah, it is. So it's just 1, 3, 5. So that's the only one so far where we've kept the same parity throughout. I wonder if some of these other guys will do that. What are these 2 digits? This one here is a 2, and then this one is a 4. That's going to give us our 2 and our 4. Good. Still no, this is a 1, 3. Oh, the 8. Here's the 8. These are the 1, 3 pair. And yeah, I don't think anything was looking at that at the moment. So, all right, on to the next bit of business, which is you're an 8. Now we can come back into this 12 clue and say these 2 have to add to 4, so they are a 1, 3, which means you're a 5. You're not. All right, next on the list this is 7 or 9, and it can't be 7 because of that guy, which means you're 7, 9. And let's think about the 16. I could have done that right away. It is 9, 7, but we wouldn't have been able to determine any of that until we got to this stage, so 7, 9. You have to be from 1, 3, or 5. It's only 1 or 3, I guess. So one of these is a 5, so you're not. All right, and we know there's a 5 up here. Do we care about that one just yet? We know what these 3 digits are. Let's start there. 2, 8, and 7. Because that's going to start to push this, and then we can maybe jump off the 17. 4 and 5. Can we do anything with that, depending on what these options are? Because if this is a 4, this would have to be 13. Couldn't do 9, 4. Couldn't do 8, 5, or 7, 6. This is not 4, it's 5. 4. This is not 5. I don't think there's any other crossover there at the moment. Anyway, these 2 now have to add to 12. Can't be 9, 3. Could be 8, 4. Can't be 7, 5. So it is 8, 4. So this is the 4. This is the 8. That's going to get us over here now at least. These guys are not 8s. That's a 7, 9, which pushes you to be an 8, which means you are an 8. Good. Get a 1, 3 pair there. Well, actually, the 7, now let's continue that. This is 2, 7. Now let's look at the 1, 3 pair because that tells us what these 2 are. They are 8 and 9. This is, no, wait, not 8 and 9. 9 and 2. There we go. Goodness gracious. This is the 9. This is the 2. Let's see what else we have here. What about you 2, actually? Because that might just get us into you. We have 1, 3, and 6 left over. You're not 6, so you are. Okay. Now, these two have to add to 8, so it's either a 1 with a 7, which it can't be, or it's a 3, 5. 1, 3, 1. This is 1. This one here is the 3 and the 5. It's going to give us the 1 and the 3. Perfect. What are you? You are the 9. Okay. Again, we're almost there. We just got to finish off these last little bits. You guys have to be from 1, 3, and 5 as well. And it can never be a 1, 3 or a 1, 5. So it is 3, 5. That is 8. This is 9. 7. And yeah, I thought we could do this too. I just didn't see it there until now. 3, 5. So 1, 3, 1, 3. This is 1, 3, 5. This is 1 and 3. And then we can just do these last two. What are you guys? 7 and 1. Oh, I didn't go. Again, a little heart attack. Oh, crap. I screwed it up. 7, 9. There we go. Thanks for playing. Oh, I didn't realize you could put, well, I guess you can do just anything, really. Other puzzle links into these. 329 solves in under a day. That's pretty good. I don't know if some of those are solves from previous times, but anyway, good puzzle. Really enjoyed that one. Everything really started to move quite well once you got started and got situated, and then just kind of just progressed throughout the thing and kind of did like a little swirl almost to get kind of into the middle. At least that's the way it worked for me. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed that one. I certainly did, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.